Okay, this video is called Study Skills, My Most Underrated Book. So the name of the book is Underground Guide to Study Skills. I say it's the most underrated book because the book costs, I think, maybe 19 bucks or something at Amazon. There's a Kindle version cheaper. But it's basically everything you need to know about study skills to crush school at every level. Junior high, high school, college, and grad school. It's almost kind of amazing that I've never in my life met anybody who was taught study skills in grade school or in high school, but it's the most important thing you could know, how to rapidly acquire information and to retain it. And the reason why public schools don't teach it is because they don't want you to learn. They want you to be a conformist, lightweight, simple-minded person who can't think right or speak well, and is just a low-paid, minimum wage employee and happy with that existence. So anyways, another thing about study skills is a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm just a genius, and some people are just smart. And I would say there is variability of IQ, but when I was in high school, I never took a single honors class. I wasn't that good of a student. I cared about sports. I didn't care about academics. When I got to Stanford, what motivated me was, number one, I didn't want to flunk out, and number two, I got injured in my wrestling career, which made me frustrated and sad, and I overcompensated by putting all my energy into academics. And sort of like my friends were all Americans, national champions, Olympic champions, and I'm just trying to get healthy again. And I ended up doing okay. I was student athlete of the year, set the school record for wins in a season at 39, but I should have been all-American or national champion maybe if I'd been healthy. So anyways, what I'm trying to say was I figured out everything. I hung around with the guys who were getting A-pluses at Stanford and learned from them. I read all the study skills books. I read all the memorization technique books. I watched all the memory champions. I continued to study information processing, storage, knowledge acquisition and retention in humans in great detail. And it's all summarized here. This is what I would call the version of my writing on study skills that's good for junior people, like for children, okay? You can give this to an 8th grader or a 7th grader. My other books are more advanced, straight A at Stanford and on to Harvard. That's really for somebody who wants to go to grad school. How to raise IQ and become a genius. That's for parents, trying to help their kids be smart. Rhyme, rhetoric, and logic is for people who want to learn how to read. Quote book would be like for somebody who wants to learn how to write better. So anyways, if you're serious about study skills, you want to help your kid, this is the way you do it. All these stupid pros, they pay, $10,000 to $50,000 a year in college tuition, and the poor kid doesn't even know how to study. Most people do not study well. A lot of the people who do make it to med school, they are smarter. They do have high IQs, and a lot of them don't even know how to study well. I've had friends who flunked their boards 5 times. I tutor them for 1 month, and then they pass. I've had students in college, flunking out of nursing school, etc. I tutor them for just, a month or so, and then they pass with honors, or even one of them was first in their class. So, anyways, this is the most underrated book, and I laugh too. I'm shadow banned, ostracized, etc. But, and this book doesn't have a single review on Amazon, not one review. And pound for pound, this is one of the most valuable books you'll ever see in your life. This is the truth how it all works. Walk and talk systems, self-test, flashcards, Lightner boxes, memory retention systems, knowledge management systems, note-taking methods, pre-reading. It's got all the stuff you would want to know. Space interval repetition systems, mnemonics, acronyms, memory techniques, letter, number, alphabet. All that stuff is in here. This is like the most valuable thing somebody could give to their kid. And it costs like the amount that it costs to buy a t-shirt, and nobody knows about it. Well, anyways, it exists for whoever cares.